जय श्री श्री गौरांग गिरिधारी राधा ललित माधव जी की जय। राधा रमन बिहारी तुलसी राधा रमन बिहारी राधा विनोद बिहारी राधा नयन बिहारी जी की जय। श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मदन मोहन जी की जय। राधा दामोदर राधा श्याम सुंदर राधा गोकुल नंद राधा रमन जी की जय। कृष्ण बलराम महाराज की जय। निखिल पृष्ठ ओम विष्णुपाद स्तोत्र सत्य श्रीमद् भक्तिवेदांत नारायण गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। ओम विष्णुपाद परिव्राज कचर्य स्तोत्र सत्य श्रीमद् भक्तिवेदांत मधुसूदन गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। निखिल पृष्ठ ओम विष्णुपाद स्तोत्र सत्य श्रीमद् भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। पृष्ठ ओम विष्णुपाद स्तोत्र सत्य श्रीमद् भक्ति जीवन जनार्दन गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। निखिल पृष्ठ ओम विष्णुपाद स्तोत्र सत्य श्रीमद् भक्तिवेदांत वामन गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। पृष्ठ ओम विष्णुपाद स्तोत्र सत्य श्रीमद् भक्तिवेदांत त्रिविक्रम गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। पृष्ठ ओम विष्णुपाद स्तोत्र सत्य श्रीमद् भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी महाराज की जय। पृष्ठ ओम विष्णुपाद स्तोत्र सत्य श्रीमद् भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोस्वामी श्रीमद् भक्ति वैभवपुरी गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। पृष्ठ विष्णुपाद स्तोत्र सत्य श्रीमद् भक्ति कमल गोविंद गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। पृष्ठ विष्णुपाद श्रीमद् भक्ति रक्षक श्रीधर गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। पृष्ठ विष्णुपाद श्रीमद् भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर प्रभुपाद की जय। परम भागवत शिल गुरु किशोर दास जी महाराज की जय। सप्तम गोस्वामी सच्चिदानंद शिल भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जय। वैष्णव सर्वभौम शिल जगन्नाथ दास जी महाराज की जय। श्री रूप सनातन भक्त रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भक्त दास रघुनाथ श्री गोस्वामी प्रभु की जय। स्वरूप दामोदर रमानंदी श्री गुरु परिषद वृंद की जय। नमाचार्य शिल हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री द्वैत गदाधर शिव श्री गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। नवदीप मंदो की जय। ब्रज मंदो की जय। क्षेत्र मंदो की जय। श्री पुरुषोत्तम-vrata की जय। पुरुषोत्तम मास की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। समग्र गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। गौर प्रेमानंदे अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। गुरवे गुरुचन्द्राय राधिकाय तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्ण भक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। पंचकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। आनन्दलीलमय विग्रहाय मबुधिविचिरसुन्दराय तस्मै महाप्रेमरसप्रदाय चैतन्यचन्द्राय नमो नमस्ते। नित्यानंद नमस्तुभ्यं प्रेमानन्दप्रदायिने कलोकल्मषनाशाय जन्मपतये नमः। अजनलम्बितभुजो कनकवदातो संकीर्तनाय पितरो कमलायताक्षो विश्वम्भरो द्विजवरो जुगधर्मपालो वन्दे जगत्प्रियकरो करुणावतारो अद्वैत प्रकृति कृतो नरहरि प्रेष्ठ स्वरूप प्रिय नित्यानंद सखा सनातन गति श्री रूप हृतकेतन प्राण प्रेष्ठ सखी लक्ष्मी प्राणपति गदाधर रसोल्लास जगन्नाथ गो संग पंग सपर्शदा सदयतां देवा सचिनंदन कृष्ण वर्णम त्विषा कृष्णम संग पंगस्त्रपर्शदम यज्ञाय संकीर्तन प्रयाय यजन्ति हि समेधसं ध्येयं सदा परिभवग्नमभीष्टदोहं तीर्थस्पदं शिवविरिञ्चनितं शरण्यं प्रीत्यार्तिहं प्रणतपालभवद्दिपोतं वन्दे महापुरुषते चरणारविन्दं त्यक्त्वा सुदुस्तिजसुरेप्सितराजलक्ष्मीं धर्मिष्ठरेव च सायदगाधरण्यं मया मृगं दैतमीप्सितमन्वदावद्वन्दे महापुरुषते चरणारविन्दं हेलधूनितके दया विशदया प्रन्मीलदन्मोदया रम्यत्कश्य हेलभूमितके दया विशदया प्रन्मीलदन्मोदया शम्यच्छस्त्रविवादया रसदया चित्तर्पितन्मादया शश्वद्भक्तिविनोदया समदया माधुर्यमर्यादया श्रीचैतन्यदया प्रदया भूयादमन्दोदया श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। First of all, my limited Dandavat pranams to his lotus feet of Shiva Gurudev, Nityalila Pravishtam Vishnupada Stotra Satashman, Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, Guru Panuga Gaudiya Guru Vargam, my dear Shiksha Guru Swami Vishnupada Stotra Sata Shrimad Bhakti Vedanta Madhusudan Goswami Maharaj Mati Krishna Priyata Purani. Also, Nitilo Pravishta Vishnupad Shrimad Bhakti Bhagavad Puri Goswami Maharaj, Nitilo Pravishta Vishnupad Shrimad Bhakti Kamal Govinda Goswami Maharaj, all devotees, Radhik, Chandrika Kunj, Dandavat, and also those who are watching us. So we're continuing hearing the glories of the holy month of Purushottama. We heard different stories about how Purushottama month evolved, how he became most fortunate, and the Lord invested all his powers, all of his qualities to Purushottama month. So those who are following the rules for Purushottama month, the vrata, the vow of Purushottama month, will achieve not only residence in the supreme abode of Purushottam Krishna, but also the rasa-filled service, bhava seva, eternal service in the eternal pastimes. So the Gaudiyas, the followers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they achieve two types of perfection. That is the permanent position in the pastimes of Krishna and the permanent position in the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So as you see, Radha and Krishna, next to Radha and Krishna, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stands with his hand like this. On the other hand, yes, you can see in our altar, Krishna Valaram Mandir, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu usually shows like this, sometimes like this. So he bestows very, very unique prema, very, very unique divine love, which is not attainable at any other time, which is not given by any other incarnation. So he comes in the age of Kali, specifically. You know, for ages, Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, Kali Yuga. So in Kali Yuga, usually in the society, it's considered that, oh, the Lord is Tri Yuga. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was speaking to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, actually Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was speaking to his nephew, not nephew, his son-in-law, Gopinathacharya. And he said, oh, the Lord is Tri Yuga. He comes in the three yugas, Satya, Treta, and Dwapara. He doesn't come in Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga is too contaminated for the Lord to come. No, he comes. He really comes. So Gopinathacharya proved to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. He comes as a very special Gupta avatar, hidden incarnation. He comes as a son of Brahmana. And he bestows a very, very special gift to the fallen people of Kali. Even those who cannot follow any elementary principles of religion can easily, by chanting the holy name, be exalted, achieve exalted position of that which is higher than a position of a Brahmana, and become a Vaishnava. Nider dosha kale rajan asti guna mahan kirtanameva krishnasya muktasanga param braje. Parikshit Maharaj heard this verse from Shukadev Goswami. O king, the age of Kali is the ocean of faults, but kirtanameva krishnasya, only by chanting the holy name, you can achieve all the best results. You can achieve all the best results. So you can really be immersed in bliss of eternal seva, eternal service to the divine couple, to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, filled with rasa. Only kirtanamava krishnasya, only by chanting of the holy name you can achieve that great, great position. So that is the special mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, there was a prophecy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance. Once Narada Muni in Dwaraka visited Vasudeva Maharaj, and he spoke to him about the highest path of bhakti. He was quoting the same conversation. He was quoting the conversation between King Nimi and the 9 Yogendras, in which King Nimi heard from the 9 Yogendras, the sons of Rishabhadev, brothers of Bharata Maharaj. He heard of them about the highest attainment, so many things. So gradually they disclosed the path of bhakti in so many aspects. Then they mentioned so many avatars. List of avatars was given. So in the 5th chapter of 11th canto, Narada concludes the conversation, what he was quoting from that conversation, in which King Nimi inquires, "O dear Yogendras, you're most perfect in the knowledge of the self. Oh, please tell me. You know, age of Kali is coming. So please tell me, what happens? What is the destination of those people who never worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead? You know, in different ages, the Supreme Lord is worshipped in different ways. In Satya Yuga, everybody worships. Everybody goes to Vaikuntha by meditation. Then in Treta Yuga, the method is Yagya, the fire sacrifice. Then in Dvapara Yuga, the method is worship of the deities. But sin becomes more and more prominent. Then in Kali Yuga, sin becomes normal life. Everything is based upon sin. So please explain me the destination of those who never worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari. Because many people are like this. Mostly they don't worship nowadays. Some of them do, but they worship demigods as a rule in India. According to the Vedic system, they ask for some material results. Those who worship Krishna often, most of the time, also expect something in return, some material result. But those who don't worship at all, what is their destination? So Chamasa, one of the 9 Yogendras, said, each of the 4 social orders headed by the Brahmanas were born through different combinations of modes of nature. Brahmanas, Satya, Sattva Guna, the mode of goodness, then Kshatriyas, warriors, mixture of Sattva and Rajas, goodness and passion, then mixture of passion and ignorance, Vaishyas, the merchants, and mode of ignorance, Shudras, working class. So through different combinations of modes of nature, and they correspond to different parts of divine body of the Lord. So from the face, arms, thighs, and feet. From the face, Brahmanas, from the head, from the arms, Kshatriyas, then from the waist, Vaishyas, and from the feet, Shudras. So for spiritual orders, traditionally it is considered that Shudras don't study the Vedas, don't hear, they are not as intelligent, but still they can progress. During this Kali Yuga, the population is most fallen, more fallen than Shudras. Shudras are very religious. In Jaiva Dharma, where the 4 orders are discussed, then the qualities are given. And the qualities of the Shudras are what? The first quality, you remember? No, the very first one is theism. Theism. Shudras are theistic. And the second one, yes, they faithfully serve the higher orders, without expectation in return, selflessly. Shudras. It's great quality. They're religious, and they're doing seva. They're doing seva. They can perform some physical work for those services, without expectation anything in return. But anyway, they're religious, dharmic. It's very, very important. Not that Shudra. No, we don't say. Very religious. They're part of Varnashrama. So Varnashrama, or the system of social and spiritual orders, is completely divine. Daivi Varnashrama, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada called Daivi Varnashrama. So Chamasa Yogendra is continuing. If any of the members of the 4 Varnas and 4 Ashramas fail to worship or disrespect the personality of Godhead, who is the source of their own creation, they will fall down from their position into a hellish state of life. So that's beyond the four orders. So that's our position. Some time ago, we must have been members of Varnashrama in the previous births, but because of disrespect, some offense, or multiple offenses, we fell from our position and were born amongst those who are called Malachas, outside of Vedic system. But this is not a disqualification at all. There are many persons who have little opportunity to take part in discussions about Supreme Personality of Godhead Hari, because this is difficult for them to chant His infallible glories. Women, Shudras, other classes always deserve the mercy of great personalities like yourself. And Brahmanas are so exalted, they receive second birth, twice born by initiation. And but in Kali Yuga, they adopt many materialistic philosophies. So many. You can see fallen Brahmanas nowadays, so-called Brahmanas, Brahma Bandhus, the friends of Brahmanas. So ignorant of the art of work, karma yoga, such arrogantly proud fools, enchanted and enlivened by the sweet words of the Vedas, pose as learned authorities and offer flattering entreaties to the demigods. That's what's going on right now. So then Yogendras are describing the fallen condition of the society which does not worship Supreme Personality. Due to the influence of mode of passion, materialistic followers of the Vedas become subject to violent desires and are excessively lusty. Their anger is like that of a snake, deceitful, overly proud, and sinful in their behavior. They mock the devotees who are dear to Lord Achyuta. They become atheists, practically, mocking devotees. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came in Navadvip, there were many such people around. They were proud by their knowledge, they were worshipping demigods, they were participating in debates, logical debates. They were the knowers of Nyaya, the art of logic, and they were reluctant to worship Hari. They were all worshipping Devi, Durga, and so many other demigods. So Advaita Acharya was so much distressed, Lord Shiva himself, Mahavishnu and Shiva combined. So he was offering a leaf of tulsi with Ganga water every day, so that Supreme Lord comes and curbs the situation. So he was ready to destroy all the world, and he was offering and offering. So Supreme Lord had to come as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sachinandan Gaura Purusottama. So Chamasa, one of the Yogendras, continuing, materialistic followers of Vedic rituals, giving up worship of the Lord, instead practically worship their wives, and thus their homes become dedicated to sex life. Such materialistic householders encourage one another in such whimsical behavior. Understanding ritualistic sacrifice as a necessary item for the body maintenance, they perform unauthorized ceremonies in which there is no distribution of foodstuffs, charity to the Brahmanas, other respectable persons. Indeed, they cruelly slaughter animals such as goats without any understanding of the dark consequences of their activities. How everything becomes degraded. So Mahaprabhu came and he saw first the senior Vaishnavas, Advaita Acharya, Srivas Thakur, Haridas Thakur. They were seeing all those events and they were very, very distressed. So the intelligence of cruel-minded persons is blinded by false pride based on great wealth, opulence, prestigious family connections, education, renunciation, personal beauty, physical strength, and successful performance of Vedic rituals. They're intoxicated with false pride. So that was going on before Mahaprabhu came. So Supreme Personality is fully merciful. And he is eternally situated within the heart of every embodied being. So he mercifully came as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This Yogendra is so much, he just completely destroys all misconceptions of Kali Yuga. It gives a very, very strong push here, so I just want to fully quote this. In this material world, the conditioned soul is always inclined to sex, meat-eating, and intoxication. Therefore, religious scriptures never actually encourage such activities. Although the scriptural injunctions provide for sex through sacred marriage, for meat-eating through sacrificial offerings, for intoxication through acceptance of ritual cups of wine, such ceremonies are meant for the ultimate purpose of renunciation. So he's saying further on, if somebody wants sex life, then accept one wife, don't go to many. If you want intoxication, then offer some liquor to goddess Durga. And then don't drink, but just smell. That's actually the prescription. Like this, you can kill that goat, and that goat will receive a human body as a result. So some progress will be there. According to the Vedic injunctions, when wine is offered in the sacrificial ceremonies, it is later to be consumed by smelling, not by drinking. Sacrificial offering of animals is permitted, but there is no provision of wide-scale animal slaughter, like now. Terrible. No sacrifice, nothing. Mother cow is being killed everywhere. So bad. So religious sex life is also permitted, but only in marriage for begetting children, not for sensuous exploitation of the body. But less intelligent materialists cannot understand the duties of life. In life should be performed purely for spiritual platform. So that was the situation before Mahaprabhu's appearance. So conditioned souls become fully bound in affection to their corpse-like material bodies and their relatives and paraphernalia. In such a proud and foolish condition, the conditioned souls and the other living entities, as well as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who resides in the heart of all beings. Supreme Personality of God is forgotten, completely forgotten. They forget that he's in everyone's heart. Think about the body. Wild enjoyment. So very, very hard words of Chamasa. Yogendra. Those who have not achieved knowledge of the absolute truth, yet who are still beyond the darkness of complete ignorance, generally follow the threefold path of material life. What is that? Dharma, Artha, Kama, no, threefold. Kama, Artha, Dharma. Sense enjoyment, material economic development, and religious life for sense enjoyment and for economic development, means worshipping demigods. That's how they live their life. They don't want even liberation. The threefold. Not having time to reflect on any higher purpose, they become the killers of their own soul. That's what's going on. The killers of the soul are never peaceful because they consider that human intelligence ultimately meant for expanding material life. So such people become Atmaha. It's not possible to kill the soul, but it's possible to prevent the soul from progress. That's how they live. So these people are filled with great hopes and dreams, but unfortunately these are always destroyed by the inevitable march of time. Time destroys everything. Time is called death personified. Kala, yes. Death personified. So time devours everything in this world. Such heavy words, but very, very necessary, because the king acquired that for the benefit of the population. So King Nimi inquired about the colors. Oh, the Supreme Personality of Godhead comes. He knows that the Lord comes in different ages, with different purposes, in different colors also. So now, since Yogendras already had told the king about different incarnations, so the king then asked, how about those souls who don't worship any incarnations? What are their destinations? So he answered. And now the king is asking again about the different colors of different incarnations coming in different ages. Karabhajana, the different Yogendra, replied, in the 4 yugas, Krita, Treta, Dvapara, and Kali. Krita means Satya, the same. Treta, Dvapara, and Kali. Lord Keshava appears with different complexions, names, and forms, and is worshipped by various procedures. So we're coming to that shlok, which is describing Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his wonderful activities, the essence of his incarnations. At once, Karabhajana Yogendra refutes the theory that the Lord doesn't come in Kali Yuga. He certainly does. He comes in a most munificent incarnation, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the source of all incarnations. So in each of the 4 yugas, Krita, Treta, Dvapara, and Kali, Lord Keshava appears in different incarnations. In Satya Yuga, the Lord is white in color and 4-armed, has matted locks and wears a garment of tree bark. He carries a black deerskin, a sacred thread, prayer beads, and the rod and water pot of a brahmachari. People in Satya Yuga are very peaceful, non-envious, non-violent, friendly, and steady in all situations. There is no sin, and they're always immersed in meditation. So they worship that white incarnation, and they massively go to Vaikuntha, to spiritual planets, not Goloka, but Vaikuntha. They worship the Supreme Personality by austere meditation and by internal and external sense control. The Lord is known in Satya Yuga by the names Hamsa, which means swan, Suparna, Vaikuntha, Dharma, Yogeshvara, Amala, Ishvara, Purusha, Avyakta, and Paramatma. So many names. Also, in the Treta Yuga, the Lord appears in a red incarnation, red complexion, 4 arms, golden hair, triple belt decorating him, representing initiation into each of the 3 Vedas, embodying the knowledge of worship, sacrificial performance, which is contained in the Rig, Sama, and Yajur Vedas, 3 Vedas. So his symbols are ladle, which is used for pouring ghee in sacrificial performances, spoon, and other implements of sacrifice. So he's called the Yagya. Yagya means personification of fire sacrifice. The person for whom fire sacrifice is meant. In Treta Yuga, those members of human society who are fixed in religiosity and are sincerely interested in achieving the absolute truth worship Lord Hari, who contains within himself all the demigods. The Lord is worshipped by the rituals and sacrifice taught in the 3 Vedas. So different demigods are situated in different parts of his body, and even the cow, the body of a cow, contains so many demigods. So everything is divine. Vishnur, Yagya, Prishnigarbha, Sarvadeva, Urukrama, Vrishakapir, Jayantascha, Urugaya, Itiryate. So the Lord in Treta Yuga is known by the names Vishnu, Yagya, Prishnigarbha, Sarvadeva, Urukrama, Vrishakapi, Jayanta, and Urugaya. In Dvapara Yuga, Supreme Lord appears with a dark blue complexion, wearing yellow garments. Usually, like every Yuga, every Dvapara Yuga, there's Yuga avatar. But when Krishna came, he also came at the end of Dvapara Yuga. So he had the same complexion, but that was the Supreme Personality of Godhead the source of all incarnations. Yatecham Shakala Pumsa Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam Indradi Vyakulam Lokam Hridayanti Yuge Yuge. So Krishna comes only once during day of a night of Brahma. That corresponds to 8,640,000,000 years. 4,320,000,000 divided by 2. That's the day of Brahma. 4,320,000,000 divided by 2 means plus night of Brahma. That comes up to 8,640,000,000 years. So that's very, very rarely available. So Krishna comes as rarely, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also. After Krishna comes at the end of Dwapara Yuga, the 28th Dwapara Yuga, amongst the cycle of 28th Manvantara, and then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes right after Krishna, after 4,500 years. Maybe figures slightly differ, but during this Kali Yuga, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came exactly after 4,500 years after Krishna. So that's what happens. So he is decorated when Krishna comes, when Supreme Personality of Godhead, the incarnation of Dwapara Yuga, not necessarily Krishna. That's the blackish complexioned avatar, wearing yellow garments. The Lord's transcendental body is marked with this incarnation of Srivatsa and other distinctive ornaments, mark of Goddess of Fortune, Srivatsa, Kaustuba jewel, all those decorations also Krishna was wearing, but those decorations also typical for the blackish complexioned avatar of Dwapara Yuga. He manifests his personal weapons also because he's four-handed. If we speak about Krishna, Krishna was not four-handed in Vraj, but when he left at the age of 10 years and 8 months, Krishna left Vraj. Uncle Akrura took Krishna and Balaram to Mathura. So there, sometimes he was manifesting 4 arms and sometimes 2. And in Dwaraka also, he was actually, his form is four-handed, but he manifests 2 in the human-like pastimes. But 4 hands are never manifested in Vraj. Although the four-handed Mahavishnu kills all the demons. So that's how it goes in Vraj. He's hidden. He's present within Krishna's body. All avatars are always present. But the knowledge of his God, how to say, being God, being the personality of God, is absent totally in Vraj. So tam tada purusham martya maharajo palakshanam yajanti veda tantrabhyam param jigyasavun ripa. My dear king, in Dwapara Yuga, men who desire to know the Supreme Personality of Godhead worship him in the mood of honoring a great king, following the prescriptions of both the Vedas and Tantras. Normally it's like this. When he comes as Krishna, especially in Vrindavan, it's quite different. He's never the king. But in Dwaraka, he's the king, though. He's the king. And he has his praja, his subjects, his prime minister, Uddhava, the best representative, is sent to Vrindavan. So the Lord is worshipped by the following mantra in Dwapara Yuga. Namaste Vasudevaya Namaha Sankarshanaya Cha Pradimnaya Nirudhaya Tubhyam Bhagavate Namaha Narayanaya Rishaye Purushaya Mahatmane Vishveshwaraya Vishvasya Sarva Bhutatmane Namaha. So this is like Mahamantra of Dwapara Yuga. The Lord is worshipped with these mantras. What does it mean? Obeisances to you, Supreme Lord Vasudeva, to your forms of Sankarshana, Pradyumna, and Niruddha. O Supreme Personality, all obeisances unto you, Lord Narayana Rishi, O Creator of the universe, best of personalities, Master of this cosmos, and original form of the universe. O Super Soul of all created entities, all homage unto you. You see so much Aishwarya, so much awe and reverence. Mostly those worshippers go to Vaikuntha or any other abode, but not Vraj. But Vraja Bhakti is very, very rare. When Krishna comes once during the day and night of Brahma, once every 8,640,000,000 years, then he takes his devotees to Vraj, to Vrindavan. So how lucky we are. And when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes, then he distributes what? Vraja Bhakti. Vraja Bhakti. So the devotion and the mood of Vraj. So we'll discuss this a little further on. Iti dvapara urvesha stuvanti jagadishwaram nanatantra vidhanina kalavapi tatha shrinu. In this way, people of Dwapara Yuga glorified the Lord of the universe. But in Kali Yuga, also people worship the Supreme Personality by following various regulations of the revealed scriptures. Now kindly hear of this from me. So these words of Srimad Bhagavatam are so prophetical, and also they're so much evident that yes, the Lord comes in Kali Yuga, and the Lord is worshipped in Kali Yuga also. Simply the difference is that the population is very, very fallen. So many people are outside of any Vedic culture. So here's the famous verse. What's his name? Karabhajan, I think. Yogendra is quoting. Krishna Varnam Tvisha Krishnam Sangha Pangastra Parshadam Yagyaya Sankirtana Prayay Yajantihi Sumedasa. There's no choir. Nobody knows. Okay, we have to learn this verse. It's very important. This is the prophecy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance. So, in the age of Kali, intelligent persons perform congregational chanting to worship the incarnation of Godhead, who constantly sings the names of Krishna. Although his complexion is not blackish, he is Krishna himself. He is accompanied by his associates, servants, weapons, and confidential companions. Now we'll discuss this verse at length. Krishna Varnam Tvisha Krishnam Sangha Pangastra Parshadam Yagyaya Sankirtana Praya Yajantihi Sumedasa. Krishna Varnam. Varnam means syllable. He always sings Krishna, the wonderful names of Krishna. Krishna himself sings his own. Turn off the sound. Krishna himself sings his own names. He comes in the garb of a devotee, in the mood of a devotee. That is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. What kind of devotee? Who is the highest devotee? Do you know? Her name is Srimati Radhika. Srimati Radharani. Yeah? So, her name is Radha. Ra comes from the root Aradhana, means worship. She performs such worship which attracts Krishna so much. That's why he is attracting Krishna by her worship, by her service so much. No one like her attracts Krishna. Also, she attracts all the other living entities to the worship of Krishna. That's why she is called Bhakti Devi. Personification of Bhakti is Radha Thakurani. And Dha means immediately she ran towards Krishna. As soon as Radhika appeared from the left part of Krishna's body, when Krishna played the flute at Vamshivat, then Radhika came out of his body. And so many other gopis, transcendental Lakshmis, they came out from her body, Kaya Vyuha, none different from her body. So immediately they were so much attracted. So Krishna is a blue sapphire in the midst of the golden complexioned gopis, Srimati Radhika being the best. So Krishna Varnam, that's why he is uttering the name of Krishna in the way Radhika utters. Radhika, Srimati Radharani, yes, you were celebrating Radhashtami together, right? So during Radhashtami you heard a lot of Radharani. She is called Krishnamayi. Devi Krishnamayi Praktam Radhika Paradevata. Sarva Lakshmi Maya Sarva Sammohini Param. So she is embodiment of devotion for Krishna. That's why she is Krishna-mayi, like she's consisting fully of Krishna. And Krishna never leaves her mouth. Always, always, the name of Krishna resides in her mouth, on her lips. Always, always, always. Krishna, 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 Krishna. Yeah. So, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was the embodiment of that love. Because he was Krishna himself, but Radha, Bhava, Duty, Suvalitam, Naomi, Krishna Swarupam. He was fully covered with Srimati Radharani's complexion and moods. There has never been such an incarnation, never, with the Purusha and Shakti together, in one body, and also with all moods. She was present in one body. You know, this is very, very high. But we'll speak a bit further. I will just describe this verse. We'll speak, I think, at length Monday, Tuesday, and also pastimes, many pastimes. Today's class is more like not theoretical. This is tattvic, Gaura-tattva. We're coming up from Srimad Bhagavatam. We're hearing about this prophecy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance. So Krishna Varnam. So he's always chanting Krishna. That's why Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was chanting Krishna. He was calling for Krishna in the mood of Radhika, understand? In the mood of Radhika, he was calling Krishna. Krishna Varnam Tvisha Akrishnam. Tvisha means bodily hue, bodily color. Krishna. Krishna means also what? Black. Those ignorant people who may pose as, knowers of Vedanta and Hinduism, they can say, oh, Krishna means black. They can say. That is true actually, because Krishna is Shyama Sundar, darkish complexion. Actually, that's best color. That's the best color. Our Param Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshava Goswami Maharaj, he wrote Radha Vinod Bihari Tattvashtaka. And he stated that the black complexion of Krishna stresses the principle of nirguna, means absence of material qualities. Guna means quality. And when you see black color, black has no color, no quality, right? If something is totally black, you cannot see, there is no light, there is like emptiness. But the emptiness here pertains to the emptiness of any material qualities, no material qualities. Once, bishop, Christian bishop, came to Param Gurudev. Actually, Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, Abhay Charan Aravinda Prabhu, as his name was, he introduced that bishop to Param Gurudev. When Param Gurudev was staying in his house, I think in Allahabad, if I'm not in Prayag, possibly it was. So he introduced that bishop he brought the bishop once to Param Gurudev. So Param Gurudev talked to the bishop. And bishop asked challengingly, why are you worshipping black? Black pertains to the absence of material qualities, Param Gurudev answered. Yeah. No material qualities. He's fully spiritual. And why are you worshipping cowherd? Krishna is cowherd boy, isn't he? Oh, but Param Gurudev said, you're worshipping the shepherd. You're worshipping the shepherd. But we're worshipping the cowherd. So finally, the bishop had no arguments. But then Param Gurudev is explaining that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is golden. And golden means the sunlight. And the sunlight has all colors of the rainbow. As you can see sometimes, in a drop of water, all the colors are there present when the sun is shining. Sometimes you can really see the rainbow over the horizon. So all the colors are included in the rainbow. So in that same way, all the colors are included in sunshine. That is Srimati Radhika. And Srimati Radhika has all the qualities, all the possible qualities. Gunamayi. Yeah? So Devi Krishna Mai. She is made of Krishna fully, but Krishna is made of Srimati Radhika and her qualities. So Krishna is looking for Srimati Radhika's qualities so much. Krishna wants to know the qualities of Srimati Radhika. That is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Krishna Varnam Tvisha Akrishna. So we can talk a little bit about Radha and Krishna Tattva now. Sri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, at the beginning of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, he wrote 14 verses which came from the lotus mouth of Swarupa Damodara Goswami, the very close servant of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Swarupa Damodara and Raya Ramananda was staying with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Gambhira. In the sacred room, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was experiencing all of his ecstasies. So only Swarupa Damodara and Raya Ramananda could enter the Gambhira. Gambhira means remote, the remote room, the sacred room. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was crying all night. His body was sometimes completely pale, and sometimes he was changing colors. He was rubbing his cheeks against the harsh surface of the walls of Gambhira. And then they couldn't find him. He was disappearing. They were finding him by the gate, main gate of the temple of Jagannath, Simhadwara, Lion Gate. They could not recognize Mahaprabhu. They could see a tortoise-like figure because all of his limbs were driven inside. So it was like a huge tortoise. Then Swarupa Damodara was uttering some mantras and Mahaprabhu was coming back. And sometimes Mahaprabhu was found in the bank of the ocean. Swarupa Damodara and Raya Ramananda could not find Mahaprabhu till the evening. It was dark, so Swarupa Damodara understood that Mahaprabhu must have entered the ocean because he thought it was Yamuna in the mood of Radhika in separation. So Radhika in separation from Krishna enters Yamuna and drowns. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in that mode. All of a sudden they saw a fisherman who was coming from the ocean, and he could not help. He was speaking nothing but Krishna, 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 like a madman. Couldn't stop. What happened to you? Oh, I caught a dead body, and from that dead body, a ghost entered my body. So I cannot stop. Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. Then Swarupa Damodara uttered the mantra, and okay, I'll say one mantra, so the ghost will leave here. So he uttered one mantra, and so-called ghost led the fisherman in peace. So where is that dead body? Show me. He showed in the net. That was Mahaprabhu. He was golden, but all of his limbs were separated. They were just on skin. And it was all, tangled like this. So then Swarupa Damodara uttered some mantra, and Mahaprabhu returned to external consciousness. So he started chastising them. Why have you returned me back? I was with Radha and Krishna. And he was describing what he saw. It's amazing, amazing. High descriptions in the Antya Lila of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Very, very amazing. So that is Mahapurusha, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Purusottama ki. So when Radha and Krishna are together like this, it's the highest manifestation of Purushottam. That's why we're hearing this. Krishna Varnam, Tvisha Akrishna. That's why his body is not golden. Not black. Akrishna. When Krishna was in Vrindavan, he was exhibiting his highest pastime, rasa dance, with the gopis. He played his flute, And the gopis ran to participate in the rasa dance. And the heart of the rasa dance is certainly Srimati Radhika. But then Radhika disappeared from arena of rasa dance. Sometimes Krishna disappears, sometimes Radhika disappears. Those pastimes are going one after another. But then Radhika disappeared. When Krishna was sitting by the side of the Imlitala, tamarind tree, Imlitala, you know, that mat, Srila Bhaktisaranga Goswami Maharaj, on the bank of Yamuna. So Krishna was sitting there and meditating on Srimati Radhika, filled with deep, deep sorrow, until his body became golden as Srimati Radhika's. So that is Radha Bhava Duty Suvalitam Nami Krishna Swarupam. That is. So then he started searching for Srimati Radhika, searching everywhere. And he found her in Sringarvat. She was in very, very deep man. She didn't want to see him. But somehow or other, he was asking her, oh, please forgive me, please accept me. He was personally decorating her hair with flowers, combing her hair. There's an ancient picture in Sringarvat you can see. Krishna decorating Srimati Radhika's hair. Then finally, her jealous anger of man subsided, and they were walking side by side for some time. Radhika said, I cannot walk any further. Then Krishna said, oh, climb on my shoulders. And when Radhika was climbing on Krishna's shoulders, Krishna disappeared. Ha Shnaramana Preshta Kvasi Kvasi Mahabhuja, Srimati Radhika exclaimed, where are you, almighty armed? Please come before the eyes of your faithful maidservant. So then Krishna disappeared. Then the gopis were coming to Srimati Radhika, and they saw her unconscious. Then the gopis started singing the glories of Krishna in separation, Gopi Gita. So that was going on and on and on. And finally Krishna reappeared. They saw Krishna again. They put their saris, which were fully wet because of their tears, on the sandy bank of Yamuna. And Krishna sat on that. Sakshat Manmata Manmata, the Cupid of the Cupids. So he reappeared. So I just wanted to illustrate a little bit the fact that Krishna is taking the bodily hue of Srimati Radhika and her mood at the Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that manifestation at Imlitala was the primal reason why Sri Krishna came as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He wanted to come specifically to experience the mood of Srimati Radhika in separation from Krishna. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in Jagannatha Puri, Purusottama-vrata, when he was exhibiting so many moods of Srimati Radhika in separation, so we'll discuss that on Monday. But let's be back with the verse. Krishna Varnam Trisha Krishnam Sangha Pangastra Parshadam. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, he came with all of his associates, all kinds. Many came from spiritual world, many came from heavenly planets, from Vaikuntha, from Goloka Vrindavan. But his associates, there's a gradation. There are those who are close, not so close, and the closest, we can say, figuratively. So, Sangha Pangastra Parshanam, Anga. So the Angas are the two main branches. There's a trunk of the tree, That is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In the beginning of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is explaining about the tree of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in different branches. But the two first ones are Nityananda Prabhu and Advaita. Those. You remember Pancha-tattva? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in 5 features? That is called Pancha-tattva. And can you please give me the Divine Name book? So here you see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in 5 features. This is called Pancha-tattva. Well, they're singing and dancing. Sometimes they're just standing. So Sri Chaitanya, that is Nityananda. That is Advaita Acharya. Not seen anyway, here's a bit weird. And Gadadhara and Srivas. So this is called Pancha-tattva. Okay, new word for you? Very good. Pancha-tattva means tattva means the established truths. The established truth of the 5 manifestations of Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Okay, so Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself. Yes, Nityananda Prabhu is Balaram. Then Advaita is Lord Shiva. Oh yeah, this is Advaita, that's true, thank you. This is Advaita. So he was the senior, he was the leader of all the Vaishnavas, and he's the incarnation of Mahavishnu and Lord Shiva, Sadashiva simultaneously. So Lord Shiva and Brahma, they came to Sri Chaitanya. We'll speak a bit further on. Gadadhara is Radhika herself. Gadadhara is a very special devotee. We'll speak a little bit about it. And Srivas. Srivas is the host of the house. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was exhibiting his most amazing manifestations of Sankirtana, congregational chanting, the house of Srivas Thakur in Navadvip. Very sacred place in Mayapur. Very sacred place of the Vaishnavas. So, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, you can help me. Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita, Gadadhara, Srivasa, Gaura-bhakta Vrinda. Srivasa Adi. Adi means and so on. Gaura-bhakta Vrinda, all the other devotees. Okay, so now we'll hear something about the gradation of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's devotees. As the Yogendras are saying to Maharaj Nimi, Sanga Pangastra Parshadam. Sa-anga. He came with his angas. Angas means the main 2 branches, the first 2 branches of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's tree. Who are they? Nityananda and Advaita. Lord Balaram and Lord Shiva and Mahavishnu together. So they are called Bhagavat-tattva or Krishna-tattva also. Vishnu-tattva, we can say Bhagavat-tattva. So they are the Lords, okay? We say Lord Chaitanya, we say Lord Nityananda, we say Lord Advaita, we can say. But we never say Lord Gadadhara, never say Lord Srivas, no. Because Gadadhara is Srimati Radhika, that is Shakti Tattva. That is the energy, principle. And Srivas is Narada Muni. He's incarnation of Narada. So he is Bhakta Tattva. He's a devotee, best of the devotee. Narada is best devotee, one of the 12 Mahajans. He has a special place in Krishna Lila always, so many related to Narada. But in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Lila, he is Srivas. So, Sa-anga. So, Angas are, again, who are they? Nityananda and Advaita. Repeat. Nityananda, Advaita. Very good. So, they are Angas. Now, Upangas. Upangas are subsidiary branches. Subsidiary branches. Supplementary. Growing from the initial one, you see these tulsis, very wonderful tulsis, will have many branches soon as they grow stronger and wider. So they'll have many branches. Any tree actually around, you can see. So the subsidiary branches, like little rivers from the mainstream, so many devotees. So we say Srivas Adi Gaura-bhakta Vrinda. We say Srivas and all the other devotees. So they're called Upangas. Upangas means supplementary limbs. Understand? So Shrivas is a devotee already, like purely devotee, because Narada is a devotee, he's not Bhagavan, okay? He's not Shakti either. He is a devotee, purely devotee. So that's why he is the root of all the other branches, subsidiary branches, or Upangas. That's what we know. So then after Parshadas. The Parshadas are associates, very close associates. Sangha Pangastra Parshadam. The Parishadas or associates, they come also. Who are they? Well, traditionally 3.5 are mentioned. 3.5. Who are they? You remember? Who remembers? Swarup Damodara Goswami, Ramananda, Shiki Mahiti, and his sister Madhavi. So these three. These three were very, very close to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They were able to enter Gambhira, the sacred room. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was performing his pastimes and pastimes of separation of Srimati Radhika, especially Swarup Damodara Ramananda. In Krishna Lila, there are who? Lalita and Shaka. Swarup Damodara is Lalita, and Ramananda is Vishaka, right? And then Shiki Mahiti and Madhavi are also gopis. Ragaleka and Kala Keli, their names. So they're also close. Also, above these 3.5, the 6 Goswamis are prominent also. They are close associates. They are Parishadas. Rupa, Sanatana, Raghunath Bhatta, Jiva, Gopal Bhatta, Raghunath Das. Right? But the root of all the Parishads, who is he? Gadadhara Pandit. Gadadhara Pandit is the root of all the Parishads. He is Srimati Radhika herself. So the question is, why wasn't he then so close to Mahaprabhu, like physically? Why wasn't he in Gambhira? Why wasn't he present when Mahaprabhu was exhibiting all those ecstatic moods? Srimati Radhika herself cannot be so close. Because Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is that Krishna who performs her role. So Gadadhara Pandit was always present at some distance in the temple of Tota Gopinath. Actually, that wasn't temple first. There was a garden, Yameshwara Tota. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was coming to Gadadhara and hearing Srimad Bhagavatam from Gadadhara every day. Srimad Bhagavatam contains what? Only the names of Krishna. The name of Radhika, actually. The names of Krishna for sure, but the names of Radhika specifically. So when a Rasika Vaishnava, when a great, great devotee, in the mood of Radha Dasya, the service of Srimati Radhika's lotus feet, hears Srimad Bhagavatam, tells Srimad Bhagavatam, what will the others receive? Radha Bhava. The mood of service to Srimati Radhika's lotus feet. That's what the others will receive, and that's what that devotee sees in Srimad Bhagavatam. The name of Radhika is given only like a hint in Srimad Bhagavatam, if we see generally, if we see neutrally. Anaradita Nunam Bhagavan Harimeshwara. Those gopis who were approaching Srimati Radhika as she was lying unconscious in Shringarvat, they uttered that verse. Actually, the gopis of the opposite group, Chandravali's group, they uttered that verse. Oh, that gopi, Anaradita, she was performing the very, very deep devotion for Krishna in her previous birth, Anayaradika Nunam. That is why she was able to be alone with Krishna right now, Bhagavan Harimeshwara. Yeah, they were saying like this. So that's like a hint, Anayaradika Nunam, another verse in 2nd canto. So those were general considerations, but Rasika Vaishnavas, they see Radhe, 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 Radhe all over Srimad Bhagavatam. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu therefore was coming to Srimati Radhika, Krishna was coming to Srimati Radhika, Mahaprabhu was coming to Gadadhara every day to hear the glories of his beloved. Krishna was coming to Radhika to hear from her about her glories. That was the essence of Mahaprabhu coming to hear from Gadadhar Pandit in the garden of Yameshwara Tata. So Gadadhar Pandit is the root of all the associates of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Krishna Varnam Trisha Krishnam Sangha Pangasta Parshidam Yagair Sankirtana Praya Yajanti Hi Sumedasa. So Sumedasa, those intelligent people of Kali Yuga, will worship him, Yagya, perform Yagya in the form of Sankirtan, in the form of chanting of the holy names. Yagya is normally performed by Brahmanas. Swaha, they offer oblations to the fire, they offer grains and ghee. Right now, no qualified Brahmanas. They're all polluted either by Mayavad or materialism. Not possible to perform proper yagya. It's possible only to hear and chant the holy name. That is the method for Kali Yuga. Harer Nama, Harer Nama, Harer Nama, Vaiva Kevalam, Kalo Nastyeva, Nastyeva, Nastyeva Gatiranyata. There is no other way, no other way, no other way. Chanting of the holy name, chanting of the holy name, chanting of the holy name. Repeated 3 times. That is from the Upanishads. So Yagya Sankirtana Praya Janti Hi Sumedasa. So they will be worshipping Yajanti, the Supreme Personality, Sumedasa, those intelligent people, by Sankirtana Yagya. So no other way, no other way, no other way. So then the Yogendras are uttering the 2 verses after this. We were quoting them at the beginning of our classes this year. Vande Mahapurushate Charanaravindam, ending with this verse, or with this line. Vande Mahapurushate Charanaravindam. So, see, Karabhajan, I think Yogendra is speaking. So he is addressing Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as Mahapurusha, Purusottama here. Vande Mahapurushate Charanaravindam. Dhyayam Sada Paribhavagnam Abhishtadoham Tirtaspadam Shivavirim Chanutam Sharanyam Prityartiham Pranatapala Bhavabdipotam Vande Mahapurushate Charanaravindam. Vande Mahapurushate Charanaravindam. So I'm always meditating Dhyayam on this Mahapurusha and his lotus feet, who is whose lotus feet destroy the embarrassing conditions of material life. Abhishtadoham. And freely award the greatest desire of the soul, the attainment of pure love of Godhead. So you are the abode of all the holy places and all of saintly personalities, headed by Lord Shiva and Brahma, Shiva Virinchi, Tam Sharanya. So you're easily accepting those who are falling at your lotus feet, very, very easily. So much Bhakta Vatsala, he loves his devotees so much. If a person offers obeisances to Krishna one time, wholeheartedly, he will accept you forever. Rules, regulations, no problem. They will be achieved. I mean, they will be practiced. But the main is the Lord will accept you forever. If you're just simply, simple-heartedly, wholeheartedly, simple-heartedly offering yourself to him, he'll accept you forever. That's it. So we'll speak a little bit about the meanings. Deyam Sada. So Srila Jiva Goswami is saying that this meaning is also is there in the Gayatri mantra. Dhimahi. When we chant the Gayatris, there's the word Dhimahi. So I'm meditating. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is our eternal deity, eternal object of our meditation. Whatever we do for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. His personality is so unique because he is God himself and his Guru simultaneously. He's our Guru. Well, when Guru was explaining Gaura mantra, Gaura Gayatri, was saying that he's Guru of all of us and he's giving all tattvas, knowledge of all tattvas, of all the established truth. Guru-tattva, Jiva-tattva, Maya-tattva, Krishna-tattva, Bhakti-tattva, Radha-tattva. Everything. He's explaining. Mahaprabhu explained. Mahaprabhu explained also Radha-tattva. He was explaining about Srimati Radhika. Then he was hearing from Raya Ramananda so much about Srimati Radhika. And when we chant the holy name, then those names are nothing but the names of Radhika and Krishna. Hare Krishna. So Srimati Radhika was always chanting the name of Krishna, and Krishna in the form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu always chanting the name of Krishna as well, with Radha and Krishna. So I remember one story in Nidhuvan, the holy garden of Nidhuvan. Once, when the divine couple awoke, after they rested, after nighttime pastimes, then Radhika told Krishna, "Oh Priyatama, oh the Lord of my life, I had a very wonderful dream. I had a very wonderful dream. I saw a very, very attractive golden complexioned Brahmana boy, and he was chanting sometimes my names and sometimes your names. He was chanting and dancing by the bank of a river, which was not Yamuna, it was a different river, Ganga, in Navadvip, and he was crying. Then Krishna showed Radhika on his Kaustuba jewel, like on a screen, that pastime. Oh, Priya, oh my dear one, see, this youth was this young Brahmana you saw. So she saw in the screen of his Kaustuba jewel that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was dancing and singing. Oh yes, yes. Then Krishna told her, I will come like this, as a young Brahmana, and I will be chanting sometimes your names, sometimes my names, and I will exhibit your feelings and your love for me. So that's how Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also, Sri Krishna disclosed his pastimes, future pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in this lila. So Deyam Sada. So this process has to be practiced forever. Deyam Sada. Always I meditate. Srila Gurudev was, when I came to Srila Gurudev when he was in England, 2003, in Birmingham. So he was speaking on Bhajana Rahasya. And he was saying things I was shocked really to hear. I mean, it was so much shocking, certainly in a very good way. He said, when you chant the Hare Krishna, when you chant the names of Krishna, you have to meditate on his pastimes. Mentioned, you know, like he was speaking about the second, the third yama of Bhajana Rahasya. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's book, very important. Gurudev said, you have to think of the pastimes of Krishna. You know? And who thinks first of all? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He thinks. He really thinks. He's always thinking of Krishna in the mood of Srimati Radhika. And he teaches that. He teaches. Hare Krishna Tuchaya. There's a false theory by some sahajas that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was not chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Mahamantra, he was not chanting. But Srila Rupa Goswami is specifically stating in Chaitanya Ashtaka, Hare Krishna Tuchaya. Tuchaya means loudly. He was chanting Hare Krishna Tuchaya. Srila Rupa Goswami is confirming he was chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Also in Chaitanya Bhagavata, there's an episode where Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu proclaims Hare Krishna Mahamantra and said, this Mahamantra you have to chant Korya Nirbandha and to count. Some devotees are saying, oh, not necessary to count, some young devotees. I chant all the time anyway, no need to wear beads, you know. No, Mahaprabhu said Korya Nirbandha, you have to count. So that's the process introduced by Mahaprabhu himself to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra and to count the quantity on beads. So that's very authoritative. So Deyam Sada, Nam Namakari Bahuda, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said in his Shikshashtaka, Nam Namakari Bahuda, O Supreme Lord Parameshwar Purushottam, you invested all of your energies into your holy names, but I'm so unfortunate, I have no attraction for that. So, in utter repentance, in the mood of despondency, in the mood of I'm so fallen, I've performed so many sins, one has to chant. So Gurudev was asked, what do we have to think about when we chant the holy name? First of all, we have to think, I'm so fallen and wretched, I have performed so many sins. Then we have to remember Vrindavan. That's what Gurudev was giving specifically during initiation. Always think of Vrindavan. Think, I'm in Vrindavan. So he just was investing, he was putting Vrindavan into our hearts. So then we have to chant and always remember Vrindavan. So there is no time and place regulations for chanting. You can chant inside, outside, contaminated condition, pure condition, day, night, while walking, while sitting, while, if you're sick, lying down. Otherwise, if you're tired, just go sleep. Don't chant when you lie down. Anyway, certain regulations, maybe. Don't chant at the steering wheel when you drive. Okay. Also, when you do your work, you can sing, do something, but not this. In the toilet, don't chant japa. Set the regulations. Still, no rules and regulations, but in the morning, just wash your hand, before taking the beads, like this. But generally, no requirements. For Gayatri mantras, there are requirements. Tilak, facing east, straight, sit straight, etc. Very significant words, paribhavagnam. So, in society, there is so much envy, and everybody's envious about everyone. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has invested his powers in the holy name, so that hard knot of envy can be untied. Then we can be free from envy while chanting. Kirtaniya Sadahari, Trinada Pisun Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Trinada Pisunichana, Tarora Pisa Hishnana, Amanina Manina Kirtaniya Sadahari. Being humbler than the straw in the street, being more tolerant than a tree, without expectation to any respect, honor and respect towards you, and being ready to respect all the others. You have to chant the holy name constantly. So when you chant, then all the false identification is broken, then all the envy will be finished. Paribhavagnam. So paribhava is material existence. So the offenses of material existence, the shocks of material existence, everything will be finished. So paribhavagnam, tirthaspadam. So the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are the shelter of all the holy places. All the holy places are worshipping Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When we visit Navadipa Mandala Parikrama, we hear so many stories from Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's Navadipa Dhamma Mahatmya, where he is telling the stories from Puranas and from the lips of great sages of the past about how the great personalities were coming to Navadvip and they were receiving darshans of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The acharyas of the four sampradayas, they came and they received darshans of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So we need to know that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is real Purusottama. He is the highest manifestation of Krishna. Because even those great personalities, Puranic personalities, acharyas of the sampradayas, they were meditating in Navadvip and they were receiving the vision of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was coming and promising them, oh, I will accept you in my pastimes. Thus, Ramanujacharya, for example, the acharya of Sri Sampradaya, he came to the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he was known as Bhakta, called Ananta. He was known as Ananta, devotee called Ananta. So Lord Shiva, the Acharya of Rudra Sampradaya, he's the founder of Rudra Sampradaya. He came and he became Advaita. So Shiva Virinchanatam Sharanim, all the great demigods headed by Shiva and Brahma, they came in the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Lord Shiva came, Advaita Acharya. Lord Brahma came, Haridas Thakur. Haridas, have you heard of Haridas? Have you? Yes, so he was the great saint. He was called Namacharya, the Acharya of the holy name. Have you heard of Haridas? No. Okay, in your classes, I think we will talk about Mahaprabhu solely these days. So Haridas was beaten in the 22 markets. He was of Muslim origin, but he was beaten. He was great saint, and he was beaten by the Muslims for his being devoted to chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. The Muslim ruler, the ruler of Bengal, and the Qazi, local ruler, they ordered to beat him. So in 22 marketplaces, he was beaten, and his body was practically, only skin and bones, and there was nothing left practically. But he said, before he was beaten, he said, Kande Kande Hidaya, Madhyadi Pran, Kabuyadi Vadanena Chadi Harinam. Let my body be cut into so many pieces, and let my life air leave me. I will never leave the holy name. So that is Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma. So that's why Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu called Haridas Nama Acharya, the holy teacher who is teaching by his example how to chant the holy name. Haridas Thakur was chanting 300,000 holy names a day. That is 3 times 64, 192 rounds. It was practically 24 hours, almost 24 hours like this. Then Ramachandra Khan, the ruler of one place, he sent to Haridas Thakur best of the prostitutes, the youngest and most attractive one, called Lakshahira. She was just 16. Oh, seduced this Haridas. Don't worry, my master. In a few days, he will be chanting my names, not Krishna's names. So she came in the evening, and Haridas was sitting in his hut. And she said, "Oh, Haridas, you're in the prime of your youth. No other lady would..." keep your legs like this. Okay. No other lady would help but feel attraction towards you. Please unite with me. This is my heart's desire. Oh yes, I promise. I will satisfy your heart's desire. But you please sit for a little while, because I have to accomplish my vow. I have to chant a certain big amount of rounds. So she was sitting all night, and then she left, and she came another evening, and then she was hearing. She was in sadhu sangha, in the association. Sometimes she was sighing, "Ah, Krishna," like this, and hearing. Another night finished, and "Oh, I'm so sorry, I couldn't satisfy you, but please come tomorrow. Definitely, I promise I will satisfy your desire." So she came, and on the third night she experienced the sudden change of heart. "Oh, please forgive me, exalted Haridas. The wicked Ramachandra Khan sent me to you in order to seduce you. Please forgive me, and please accept me. I'm so sinful." Then Haridas said, "Go to your home, leave everything behind, distribute all of your riches to Brahmanas, and come with one piece of white cloth. Come here, sit and chant the holy name and worship Tulsi." So many sins Tulsi can eradicate. When we were in ISKCON, we were singing that Yani Kani Cha Papani Brahma Hati Dikani Cha Nikani Pranashanti Prashdi Pade Pade Amantanos. So even up to the sin of killing a Brahmana, so many sins. Remember Papa Purusha had that great his head was made of, in Warsaw we were discussing. His head was made of killing of a Brahman, Papa Purusha, personification of sin. His hands were made of killing of a cow. The whole body was made of horrible sins. So all of them disappear when one circumambulates Tulasi. So that is Lord Brahma, and he came as Haridas Thakur. Vande Mahapurushate Charanara. So Prityanti Hampranatapala. So when one just bows down to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, immediately he accepts him. In the same way as Jagai Madai. Have you heard of Jagai Madai? Yeah, because you're very much like them. You must have been told by the devotees, and probably drama was made. I know you're able to. But it's very nice to play with Jagai Madai. Very nice. Then, okay, Mahaprabhu, Ananta will be Nityananda or something, and then you can play. No, really, good idea. Have you done any drama? Oh, it's a good idea. Good idea. Devotees sometimes in Russia they do. It's very nice. Yeah. They were doing for Gurudev and Krishna Balaram also. I think. You did. You went in Nityananda. Yeah. Gaura Purni. No, before. Okay. I remember he was Nityananda. Yeah, right. So what I want to say, so Mahaprabhu forgave, Nityananda forgave even Madhai, who threw an earthen pot hitting his head. He forgave even Madhai. So Jagai and Madhai were, as a result, they were completely forgiven by Nityananda. And so he was so merciful, so merciful. So now we visit the Samadhis of Jagai Madhai, whose proper names are Jagadananda and Madhavananda, the two brothers. Actually, they were from Brahmana family, Jagadananda, Madhavananda, but because of the bad association, they were completely spoiled. They became drunkards, women hunters, killers, and cow killers. There were no sins they hadn't committed. So Yamaraj had no place in his book. But Chitragupta could not finish all of their sins. So the book is lacking, no more pages. Then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu immediately forgave. It's said that the fire can burn any amount of rubbish. Any amount of rubbish can be burnt very easily. So Bhavat Bipotam. So he's the most suitable boat for crossing the ocean of material existence. Bhavat Bipotam. Bhavabdi, this material ocean is immeasurable. You cannot see. When you go to Brighton, you can stay at the shore and you will not see France even. What to speak of the ocean? You cannot see the States from the shores of the sea, Scotland. You cannot see the States. So what to speak about the material ocean? There's no limit. Limitless sins. How many sins do people perform here? It's a rhetorical question. There is no answer. No answer. Limitless. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu easily neutralizes the consequences of all those sins, just come to nil. That's it. All sins are forgiven. Mahaprabhu told Jagai and Madhai, don't perform any more sins. So there's one condition. So by accepting Srimad Bhagavatam, Tatpada Parinamahat Kshema Kurvanti Govasta Padam Bhavadbim. By accepting your lotus feet as the boat by which to cross the ocean of nescience, one follows in the footsteps of the Mahajanas and can cross that ocean as easily as one steps over the hoof print of a cow. So all those sins there come up to the measurement of the water in the hoof print of a cow. There are some cows or calves nearby, or horses, whatever. So they step, and there's some water in the hoof print, but can easily cross. Nothing to do. One step will do. So sins, no problem. Jagai and Madhai were very sinful, but they had never committed one thing. Vaishnava aparad means offense of a devotee. You have to be very, very careful. In Kali Yuga, it's very, very dangerous. Nowadays, after Gurudev's departure, so many people are not cautious, criticizing pure Vaishnavas. So you have to be very, very, very cautious, because that is not forgiven. Nityananda Prabhu will forgive anything, but not Vaishnava Parad. So we have to be very, very cautious. So, so many things were spoken, and we didn't even start the second verse. So on Monday we'll hear, and we'll hear some Lila, definitely. Some Lila of Mahaprabhu in Jagannath Puri. I'm very, very eager. I was leading to that, but I wasn't sure that the boys know Panchatattva, this, that, so it was like very much broad amount of topics was covered. I was trying my best to cover. Sorry if I did so many. I was not able to properly quote verses today because very intense program here. And Ananta Prabhu has a question. Nitai Gaur Premanande.
The first question is Srimati Radhika fully present in the body of Lord Chaitanya? And at the same time, it's like she came like a Gaura-tattva. It's like fully present, and only golden hue and the halo. At the same time, in the body and in the
So when we see Param Gurudev's Radha Vinod Bihari Tattvashtaka, then he speaks about that very, very nicely. So, can you?
Yes.
Yeah. Better on my phone. I just quote. So, on the one hand, yes, Srimati Radhika covers Krishna. So that is called Avish. Avish, the principle of Avish. So Krishna is covered. But on the other hand, Gadadhara Pandit is full manifestation of Srimati Radhika. He is present in Krishna Lila. So Radhika is present in Krishna's body, in the body of Mahaprabhu as Avesha. So she is covering him. Radha Vinod Bihari Tattvashtaka. Okay. Param Gurudev is saying, Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami, Radha Chinta Niveshena Yasya Kantir Vilopita Shri Krishna Charanam Bande Radha Lingita Vigraha. I worship the lotus feet of that Krishna, who by being absorbed in anxious thought of Srimati Radhika has assumed the golden feature. So here the words Radha Lingita Vigraha. Gurudev is explaining this verse. He is saying Radha Lingita and Radha Alingita. There are two meanings. So Radha Lingita means Krishna has gained the hue of Srimati Radhika's body. Srimati Radhika touches Krishna. And then Radha Alingita is Srimati Radhika fully embracing Krishna. When Krishna comes to Srimati Radhika and tries to break her man, Radhika is manini. You can see Radhika is so sad here. So she is immersed in man, in jealous anger. She is sitting alone in the Kunja at Manasarovara, at Shringarvat. Then Krishna comes, falls at her feet, saying, Smaragarala Kandanam Mama Shirasimandanam Dehi Padapalava Mudaram. Please extinguish the burning poison which is burning my heart with the touch of your lotus feet. Please put your feet on my head. That is what Radhika, Krishna is saying to Radhika. So then finally she does. So that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is also that Krishna who is fully embraced by Srimati Radhika. Embraces and kisses all those. So that is Radha Alingita. Radha Lingita, just touched. But Radha Alingita completely covers. So in the highest discussion of Raya Ramananda Sambat, when Raya Ramananda was saying about Prema Vilasa Vivarta already, when Srimati Radhika forgets herself, she is thinking she is Krishna, and Krishna is thinking that he is Radhika. Param Gurudev is saying further on, Sevya Sevaka Sambhogya Dravyo Bheda Kuto Bhavet Vipralambe tu Sarvasya Bheda Sada Vivardate. When the supreme object of loving service and the supreme loving servant merge in absolute love, how can any distinction be made between them? So Param Gurudev is speaking about that. Prema Vilasa Vivarta. Prema Vilasa means loving pastimes, and Vivarta means illusion. So loving pastimes is so intense that Radhika becomes illusioned. She's thinking she's Krishna. And Krishna becomes illusioned. He's thinking he's Radhika. Sevya Sevaka Sambhogya. When the Sevya, the object of the Seva, and Sevaka, the servant, meet, Sambhogya, then what happens? Dravyo Bheda Kuto Bhavet. No more Bheda, no more difference. You see how highest Tattva Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is. A bit high for you today, but anyway, just here. How high this is. Even Radhika forgets she is Radhika, Krishna forgets he is Krishna. So when at certain point of Raya Ramananda Samvat, Raya Ramananda started speaking about that, Mahaprabhu closed his mouth. Don't. How high this is. At another point, Mahaprabhu asked a question. Raya Ramananda recognized, I've never heard anyone asking beyond that. I've never heard such questions in my life. Vipralambe tu sarvasya, Bheda sada vivartate. But when they are separated, all of their distinctions are continuously amplified. Radha Krishna Pranay Param Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is saying in the beginning of Chaitanya Charitamrita, Radha Krishna Pranay Vikritir Ladini Shakti Rasmat Ekatmanamapi Vavara Deha Bhedam Gatotum Chaitanya Kyam Prakatamadunam Tadvair Chaikim Aptat Radha Bhava Duty Suvalitam Name Krishna Swarupam. This verse of Chaitanya Charitamrita is called Vastu Anirdesh, means delineation of the subject matter of the book. So the subject matter of the book Chaitanya Charitamrita is how Mahaprabhu manifested and what he was feeling, that is Radhika's feelings of separation. Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikritir Vladini Shakti Rasmat. So the manifestation of devotional love, of love between Radha and Krishna, are manifested by the actions of Swarupa Shakti. Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikritir Vladini Shakti, that is Radhika, by Krishna's design. Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikritir Vladini Shakti Rasmat Ekatma. Very important word, means one soul. Ekatma. Radha and Krishna, one soul. Ekatman, Deha Bhedam Gatos. So originally they are Ekatma, non-dual, because the principle of the Vedas is Shakti, Shaktiman, Abheda. Shakti, energy, and the source of the energy, Abheda, non-different. So Radhika is non-different from Krishna, Krishna is non-different from Radhika. Bhagavan's Shakti, the energy of the Supreme Lord, non-different from the Supreme Lord. The light and heat coming from the fire, non-different from the fire. The fire cannot exist without fire and heat and light. So in that same way. So this is Tattva, but in Rasa, different, loving relationship. Because they are personalities, not just impersonal energy. No. There are two aspects, Murta, Amurta. Murta means manifested, non-manifested. Murta manifested. Murta, so Radhika and Krishna. Murta. Madan Mohan and Radhika. But Amurta means energy, right? Purusha Shakti we can see like this. So, the action is a Amurta means non-manifested energy. So many things manifested, but we cannot see where is the energy. We cannot see, but so many manifested things by that energy. So then Radha and Krishna, in order to exhibit pastimes, became two. So one became two. Purusha and Shakti, Supreme Personality, and his energy always one. So that is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You see? And simultaneously, when pastimes should be done, then male and female aspects must be separated for the pastimes. So Radhika is in Man, she is exhibiting jealous and anger in the kunjas of Manasarovara. And then Krishna comes and searches for her and please her, please accept me back. Puts everything, his flute, highest treasure, peacock feather, his flute at her feet. Oh, please put your feet on my head. Seve sevaka sambhoge dravya bheda kuto bhavet vipralamba tu sarvasya bheda sada. Chillila mithunam tattvam bheda bhedam achintyakam shakti shakti parar aikyam yugapad vartate sada. The divine couple who are eternally engaged in transcendental pastimes comprise an existential reality that is inconceivably differentiated and non-differentiated. Abhed bheda bheda tattva. Achintya bheda bheda tattva. For the supreme potency and the supreme possessor of potency are always one with each other. So that is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's doctrine, his philosophy. Achintya bheda abheda tattva. Simultaneous difference and unity. On all levels. Say the soul. Okay? Us. We're one with the Lord and different. We're very small, he's very big, like this. Material world also. One and different. The Lord and his energy, Radha, Krishna and Radha, one and different. So, on all levels, this Achintya Abheda Tattva is discussed by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Gaura Krishna Swayam Hietat Ubhav Udbhatayam Apnuta. One should know that the absolute truth, which is one without a second, has divided his pastimes into two parts, Gaura and Krishna and Gaura. Hence, both of them are factically the original form of Godhead. Sarve Varna Yatha Vishat Gaura Kantir Vikashate. Sarva Varnena Hinastu Krishna Varna Prakashate. Wherever all colors exist simultaneously, a golden hue is manifest. However, in the absence of all color, black hue is manifest. We already mentioned this. Krishna, absence of all colors, means absence of material qualities. Mahaprabhu, all colors. Why? All qualities Srimati Radhika has. So Krishna, who has no material colors, no material qualities, is covered by the qualities of Srimati Radhika. So that's why our acharyas, yesterday Pujapat Madhusudana Maharaj said, our Bhagavan is Radhika. In the morning he said, our Purusottama is Radhika, actually. We worship her, first of all, because she is Krishna's dear most beloved. So Krishna learns from Srimati Radhika, from her qualities. When Srimati Radhika is next to Krishna, then Krishna becomes Bhagavan. That makes him Bhagavan. Without his Shakti, how can he be Bhagavan? That's a very, very deep consideration already. So everything is within him, we know. But he, how to say, takes after his Shakti. His Shakti gives him fulfillment, gives him fullness. So it seems contradictory. How come we can think? In deep bhajan, in deep absorption, hearing Harikatha will be able to comprehend how simultaneously one and different they are. So, very deep things, isn't it? The Supreme Absolute Truth, which is one without a second, both replete with qualities and devoid of qualities. All transcendental qualities are eternally manifest in Sri Gaura, and the totality of transcendental humus, completely devoid of any mundane qualities, is manifest in Krishna. Like this. So, a few more verses, but just wanted to. And your second question? Lakshahira, yes.
Come to the Haridas Thakur. And she is considered like a disciple of Haridas Thakur?
Yeah, she became disciple of Thakur Haridas. She was always chanting the holy name and worshipping Tulasi. So then all the great personalities were so much jubilant that she had become a great saint. Namacharya Shiva Haridas Thakur ki jai, Shri Chaitanya Charitamritam ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam Mahapurana ki jai, Shri Purusottama Krishna Chandra Mahaprabhu ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande. Thank you so much. More questions? No? Okay, Hare Krishna. Thank you. So tomorrow's class will be from a yoga studio, Uckfield Yoga Studio, starting 11 o'clock British time. Everybody's, so how many persons can be here? All welcome. Okay, so all welcome. This is not a home congregation, so please visit us there. And don't forget, it's 11 o'clock tomorrow's class, tomorrow's broadcast. Gaur Premanande.